coming in from. I'd love to know why you're on social media. Good morning, TikTok. Good morning, YouTube. I've got TikTok on my phone and I have YouTube on my MacBook Pro. Let me know where you're coming in from. I'd love to know why you're on social media. You're on Jamaica. Okay, from Jamaica. Good morning. Um, and actually, I'm not even going to attempt your name. I'm sorry. It's rare or something, and I'm not even going to, because I'm going to probably mess that up. So I'm not going to, I'm not even going to try. Good morning. Let me know where you're coming in from. Love to know why you're on social media. I do online marketing and making money from home, and I teach other people how to do the same thing. I've been doing these every day at 10 a.m. Eastern time, and excuse me. I'm trying to pick some topics. Today I was going to talk about why I started this journey, and what keeps me motivated, why I'm being able to be motivated to do this, because a lot of people, they get into this and they're not consistent. Good morning, Marlon. Vernon, you're saying what? I'm not sure what you're questioning. If you drop in the comments, I can answer. If you have a question, drop in the comments. If you have something you're trying to figure out, I'd be glad to do a training if it's something I've done. Somebody asked me to do one last week on social media marketing. I talked about email marketing, because if you're using social media and you're not using email marketing, you're probably not going to get the results you want. And it doesn't matter why you're on social media. If you've got a message, a cause you're supporting, you have an online business, you have an offline business, and you're trying to get exposure, you still have to do the same things on social media. And you have to learn marketing. And if you don't know how to use social media correctly, you're not going to get the results that you want. And a lot of people don't, all the tens of thousands of people I've met doing this, most people I meet, they're not using social media correctly. And like, for one thing, you don't want to spam anybody. You don't want to send anybody a link to anything, whether you're dropping it on someone's content, which you don't want to do, a video, a post, or you're messaging people like in Facebook on Messenger or uh, TikTok or Instagram. You don't want to send people something without you getting their permission. You're spamming them, basically. And you want to ask, and that's prospecting, and that works. But if you have something you're trying to share and you're messaging people like that, or you're doing it offline, in person with family and friends or whatever, you want to ask the person if they'd be open to taking a look at something you're doing. You never send something to somebody without getting their permission. You're just spamming them. And there's people doing that like all the time. You don't want to spam on somebody's video, their comments or posts about something you're doing. When anybody does that on my content, they get blocked automatically. I don't have time for that. And actually, if anybody comments and anything negative, but you don't want to send people to something without getting the permission. That's spam. And if you don't have their permission and they say no, you just want to say thanks for your time and move on. Prospecting works, but I prefer attraction marketing, and bringing people to me. If you like my video, I'd really appreciate it, whether you're on my YouTube account or you're on my TikTok account. That helps my account out. Good morning, Loretta. Good morning, Sin, and I'm probably not saying that. Good morning, and that's probably not what people call you. Good morning, Catherine. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. I'd love to know why you're on social media. I do online marketing, making money from home. I teach other people how to do the same thing. Today I was going to talk about why I started this journey and what keeps me going. Because a lot of you, and when I ask, TikTok does show me who's coming on. YouTube doesn't. I can only see the amount of people on. So if you're on my YouTube channel and you don't comment, I don't know who's here. But a lot of you, anytime I say, why are you on social media, people don't want to answer. And I think the truth is that most of you're either looking for a way to make some money from home, or you're trying, and you're not getting the results that you want. I can tell you can't do this by yourself. I spent a whole year. I bought a website. They sent me a 3-page PDF with how to set up pay-per-click ads. I had no idea what I was doing. I was setting pay-per-click ads up. I was sending people to a replicated website, which you never want to do. Good morning, Rocky. Good morning, Christina. If you could jump, like my live, I'd really appreciate it. Whether you're on my TikTok account or you're on my YouTube channel, it helps my account out. So if you've done that, thank you. If you haven't, please consider liking it. I'd really appreciate it. Good morning, Ginger. Where are you coming in from? I'd love to know why you're on social media. So today I was going to talk about why I started this journey and what keeps me going. And what brought me into this was I lost my job, and that was in 2011. Good morning, Tom. Good morning, Sashi. I couldn't find another job. It was the worst job market ever. People were getting 1,500 applications for one job. And I got a total of 3 interviews over the course of a year of sending and submitting applications. And it was taking 2 to 3 hours. Good morning, Annie. To fill out an application. They were also giving you different kinds of tests, personality tests and that kind of stuff, to save them on the other end. Because if they got 15 applications for one job, somebody has to go through that. It's time consuming. And thank you. I appreciate the heart and the fan club. Thank you so much. Good morning, Donna. Has to go through all those. And if they even called you, because you usually got an automatic email saying, we got your application. Thanks for applying. If we're interested, we'll get in touch with you. And I couldn't find another job. Somehow I knew people were making money on the internet. I do think maybe it was God telling me, people are making money on the internet. So I did literally go to Google, search make money online. I spent a year doing that, setting up pay-per-click ads, sending it to a replicated website. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have the right training. I didn't have a system. I didn't make any money. I spent $3,000 on pay-per-click ads. And after a year, I decided I had to get around somebody who had done what I wanted to do, and learn from them, because it's really hard. I don't think you can do this by yourself unless you know all this stuff ahead of time. I knew what Facebook was. I had a Facebook account, but I didn't spend a lot of time on Facebook. And I started on Facebook because of that. Thank you, Sashi, for liking my live. I really appreciate it, sending me the heart. So that's why I got into this, and I was broke, unemployed, in foreclosure. I went from having a decent paying job and being debt free, to losing 3 jobs, and I found myself drowning in $250,000 of debt. I had no idea how I was going to get myself out of this mess. And if it wasn't for this industry in digital marketing, I don't know that I'd still have my house. I'm in the house I was in 2011 when I lost my job. I managed to keep my house, but with all the debt that I racked up, this industry is the only way that I've been able to even attempt to try to pay it off. So that was why I got into this. And it's, and I started working when I was 17. I actually worked full time and put myself through college. The one job I had that I was there for 13 years, I took that job because they had a tuition program and I wanted to finish my degree. Which I did, and they paid for my education. I'll always be grateful to them for that. But the job I took after that, and I did end up getting a job that was paying more money when I finished my degree, and that was the intention. But I lost that in 3 years, and then I couldn't find another one. Worst job market ever. And if it wasn't for this industry, I didn't know what I was going to do. I was up to my eyeballs. I had maxed out 6 credit cards with $60,000, 2 mortgages on my house. And the day I lost my job, I was debt free. I had 1 credit card that if I put something on it, I'd pay it off at the end of the month. I was in a position to do that because I was debt free. And there is something to be said for being debt free. Good morning, Patricia. And I know there's a lot of people I've met that have come into this industry that had a lot of debt. But just the credit card debt alone and 2 mortgages, which I didn't have any of that the day I lost my job. I had 1 credit card with nothing on it. And if I did put something on it, I paid it off at the end of the month. Excuse me. Good morning, Jeeve. Good morning, Whisper. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. And I think a lot of you, although when I say, why are you on social media, like hardly anybody answers. And I've had now at least a couple hundred people on these lives. I've been doing these for a while. Nobody seems to want to answer why you're on social media. But I do believe a lot of you're looking for a way to make some extra money, or you've been trying and you're just not getting the results that you want. And if you're trying to do this by yourself, It's really hard, and I spent a year doing that. I could save you a year and $3,000. I didn't make any money. I knew I needed to get around somebody that had done what I wanted to do. Um, yes, most definitely. To what, Tashi? Thank you, though. I appreciate you liking my live and the heart. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, W at 6752. What do people call you? And on TikTok, people, they're, if you got a user number, it's because you haven't set up your profile. And if you want to Fortune, if you want to learn, this is digital marketing. If you want to learn about it, if you go to payudaily.com, I make 100% profit. You're on my TikTok account. If you go to my profile and click the link in my profile where it says payudaily.com, put your email address in. There's 2 videos. I encourage you to watch them, read the page. You will get an email from me with a free PDF that's outlining. I'm using a blueprint working 2 hours a day. And the PDF outlines it. If you want to try that on your own, you can. That PDF is yours to keep. It's free. You can download it, save it to your computer. Um, but you can take a look at the program, and we do teach you the correct way to use social media, how to build your email list, because most people I see, they're not using the social media correctly. A lot of people are here. Yes. And Sashi, a lot of, and what I'm finding that I find it amusing, nobody wants to comment that. With these lives, it's very different doing lives. And I've been doing these every day now for over a month. Doing these, getting on these lives, you jumping on somebody else's lives. I mean, there's no accountability. You can be laying on your couch, having your phone in your hand and jump on somebody's live. You could be sitting on your toilet for all I know. And you don't have to say anything. You don't have to show your face. You don't have to do anything. So there's no accountability, and people jump on and off. TikTok, I can see people jumping off and on. YouTube does not show me that. I'm live streaming in 2 places at once. I'm on my TikTok account and my YouTube channel. I've been doing that every day, but I've got 2 different things. I'm looking at comments on 2 different things. TikTok does show me who's coming on. So somebody goes off and then I see them coming back on. I know that. YouTube only shows me the number of people that are on, and unless somebody comments, I don't know. So if you're on my YouTube channel, and if you don't say anything and you don't comment, I don't know who's there. I do know from getting on other people's live streams on YouTube as a attendee or viewer, you can see who's coming on, and you can see the chat. But if you're actually doing the live, you can't see it. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of people, if people that are getting starry-eyed, they see people making money, and they get into all the money, the lifestyle, the cars, and get all, whatever about it. And then I know people, they join something, and I've seen people spend tens of thousands of dollars and they do nothing. I find it fascinating. I had somebody join me in an affiliate program. Actually, the affiliate program's not around anymore. I was with them for 10 years. That she bought something from me, and she was paying $179 a month for 2 years. And with that particular affiliate program, if I logged into my back office, I could see who logged in and when. And she never logged in for 2 years. She paid $179. I was making like $100 a month from that. And then eventually, after 2 years, she went in and she canceled the account. I guess she was seeing her credit card, her bank account, and seeing the charge coming up every month for $179, and then decided to cancel it. And she never used it. She never logged in. And if you multiply 179 times 24, she actually ended up spending over a couple $1,000 for something she never used. So, I mean, there's a lot of people, people don't want to be accountable at all, and they jump on these live streams, just not mine, but anybody that happens to be live streaming on TikTok, YouTube. I know that TikTok and YouTube, they send notifications out to people when I go live. They send a notification out if I upload a video. And then TikTok, when you get on and you're live streaming, when you're first getting on, they're inviting people. If I have over 100,000 followers now, that message may go out to all of them. But how many people are actually on TikTok at that time? Because It's global. I mean, where I'm at right now, I'm in the Eastern Standard Time. It's a little after 10. It's like 10:12 a.m. Eastern Time, but depending on where you are in the world, it's different times. I know in Singapore, because I do something that the company's based out of Singapore, they're 12 hours ahead of us. So right now, it's 10 p.m. on Thursday, August 28th in Singapore, where it's in the morning here. So people are coming in from all different time zones. And if it's 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, although I'd say most people at this point where I'm at, it's after 10 a.m. They're at work at this point, because most people have to be in work by 9 at the latest, unless you have some odd shifts and you work like a 12 to 8 shift. If you do nursing or cooking. Good morning, Oba King. I'm not, what do people call you? Good morning, Abdel. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. Good morning, Maria. Let me know where you're coming in from. I'd love to know why you're on social media. And I was just talking about that, saying, how many people get on these lives and nobody wants to say, well, when I say, well, why are you on social media? Hardly anybody answers. You're in Denmark and it's 4:12 p.m. Okay. So you're about 6 hours ahead of us. And the different time zones and what people are doing at those different time zones. And I just picked this at 10. I picked this time at 10 a.m. my time to go live, because I'm doing these. I'm live streaming for like an hour, and I'm following a 2-hour workday. So, and then you can get this down to 2 hours a day. I'm spending an hour of mine live streaming like this, and I never know who's going to get on. And when anybody can drop me a question if you got something you're trying to figure out, and I know about it, and I've done it, because I don't think you can train on teach or something you haven't done. I'd be glad to do a training on one of these. Somebody asked me the other day to do one about social media marketing, which I did, and I was talking about email marketing, because if you're using, it's 3:13, and are you in Nigeria? 3:13 p.m. in Nigeria. If you're trying to use social media and you're not using email marketing, you're missing out, and you're probably not going to get the results you want, because if you're just sending people to something, a page, like a website with just information on it, and you're not capturing the person's email address so you can continue communicating with them. Because the problem with that, sending them to just a page or sales page or replicated website, you only have one opportunity to talk to them. And I spent a year doing that. And most people, if they're looking at something and they're making a buying decision, they have to see it at least a few times. And the second thing is, you don't own your social media accounts. You can lose them at any time. I've lost 10 on TikTok. I lost 3 on Instagram. Somebody hacked my one, deleted it. And then Instagram, I had 2 more accounts. Instagram came back and suspended the others, and they did not rule in my favor. So it's 10:15 in the Philippines. So I lost all those accounts. TikTok, I stayed off of it for over a year. One of my accounts, I had over 200,000 followers. I started this account on my TikTok account and my Instagram account last June. I started posting. I've been posting 3 videos a day since last June, and I just hit over 100,000 followers on TikTok. I'm close to that on Instagram. So it does work, and that gets me leads every single day. I get leads from YouTube. I get some leads from Facebook. I'm on more than one platform, but I've been doing this for a long time. And if you're brand new, I do suggest you pick one social media platform and do it until you master it. Pick something you like, because if you don't like it, you won't stick with it. And consistency is probably one of the most important things, because if you're not consistent, and I mean showing up when I say showing up every day, that's 7 days a week, not 5, not 4, because if you're trying to get people to follow you on social media, if you don't show up every day, thank you for the fan club. I appreciate that. You'll never get anyone to follow you. And most of the people I talk to, they're not getting the results they want. They're not making the money they want. If I go look at their social media accounts, I can tell, because they're not consistent. Sorry, you're sending me a thing to invite. I only invite people. I invite people. So if you keep doing that, you're just interrupting me, and I'm going to have to go tell TikTok I don't want to block you, but if you keep doing that, I may have to. If I want to invite somebody to one of these, it'll be somebody I pick that I feel like they can bring value to this. So please don't do that. Thank you for the somebody just got a no, somebody just got a number two gift badger. Good morning, Mike. So if you're using social media and you're trying to get in front of people, and there's over 5 billion people on social media that you can get exposure to, if you're not doing it correctly, and most people, unless you know how, you're probably not using social media correctly, you're not going to get the results that you want. Good morning, Dee. Good morning, Tony. And being consistent is really important. Most of the people I see and I talk to, they're not consistent. I can just go to the profile and look, and you can't like post one day and then decide to come back, 2 or 3 days later and post. And when I say every day, I mean 7 days a week. Good morning, Gift Talk. What do people call you? Good morning, Linda. Good morning, Ang. Good morning, the Golden Gale. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. I'd love to know why you're on social media. I do online marketing, making money from home, and I teach other people how to do the same thing. I've been doing this for 14 years. I got into this industry and started my journey here after I lost my job. That was in 2011. I couldn't find another one. The job market was the worst ever. People were getting 1,500 resumes for one position. So if your application or resume even made it out of the stack, I only got 3 interviews in a year. I couldn't find a job. I found myself drowning. I was broke, unemployed, in foreclosure. I was on the verge of losing my house, and I found myself drowning in $250,000 of debt. And if it wasn't for this industry, if it wasn't for digital marketing, I probably would have lost my house. Good morning, Barbara. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. Let them know why you're on social media. That's why I'm here. That's why I started this. I have not worked a job in over 9 years. And next month in September, yeah, I post 3 videos a day on my TikTok account, and I also post those same videos on my um, Instagram account, and that's how I'm able. I get leads every day. I just hit 100,000 followers on TikTok. I'm close to 100,000 followers on my Instagram account, and that's just being consistent. And I am following a blueprint that's part of the blueprint. You do 3 videos, and they're short videos a day. It's a 2-hour day, 2-hour workday blueprint that I'm following. It works. We've got over 55,000 people in our community. There's too many people having success with this to say it doesn't work. It's simple. If you can follow instructions, you're coachable, you're consistent, and you're willing to put the work in, because anybody you see making money, it's because they put the work in. There is work involved, but you can get this down to 2 hours a day. If you're new, it's probably going to take you more than 2 hours until you get some experience. Because the more videos you cut, and I know a lot of people, you don't want to get on camera. You can do faceless marketing, or you can use AI. I've cut over 5,000 videos across different platforms. I did get an AI course that I bought in June, and I've been going through that in the last couple months. All the content I'm posting, I'm using AI. You learn how to make an AI twin. It looks like me, and the ones that I'm speaking in, I have software that I'm able to use my voice, and it sounds like me. If you're using AI, you can use another voice. But I think it just makes them more realistic, because it is my voice talking. Some of the videos I'm talking, others there's writing on the screen. This course has taught me a couple ways to do videos, but AI is not going away. And it's not that AI is going to replace you. It's that the people who learn how to use AI are going to replace you. I think the time now to get into AI. I don't have jobs. I'm not an employment agency. I'm not a recruiter. I have a business. You can make money from home, but it's not a job. So, if you're looking for a job, and I can tell if you're looking for a remote job, I can tell you they're very hard to get. And since COVID, if you're on my account now and you're following me, I post every day. I post videos every day on my TikTok account. If you're following me, you should see those. If you're not, follow me, and you can see the content I post every single day. I post 3 videos a day on TikTok. I take those same videos and I post them on my Instagram account. That's one of the things that enables me to get leads every day. How I've grown. I started this TikTok account last June, and I just broke 100,000 followers. I've been doing this for a long time. I've mastered some skills, and the people you see making money, it's because they've mastered some skills. They're coachable, they're consistent. why people think, you get people posting saying, I've been doing this for a month, or 2 months, 6 months, a year. I didn't make a dime the first year I did this. And after 5 years, I started making a little bit of money. I have things today that I did not have when I started. And the first year I did this, I did not have a mentor. And you need a mentor, you need training, you need a proven system. Because some of you, maybe if you're using social media and maybe you're getting some traction, you're sending people to something like a page with just information, or a sales page, or a replicated website. And the problem with that is you only have one um, opportunity to talk to them, and you don't own your social media accounts. I've lost 10 on TikTok. I lost 3 on Instagram. You can lose them at any time. You could have an account one day, it could be gone the next. You don't own them, you don't control them. So you want to build an email list. We teach you the right way to use social media and the right way to build an email list, because your email list is an asset. Excuse me. It's the only thing online you really own. You control it, you own it. You don't own or control your social media accounts. I even had a Facebook group that I had over 60,000 people, and Facebook deleted it. So the next group that I focus on, I'm going to put one on school.com. You may have heard of that platform, you may not have. You do have to pay to be on that platform, but I can't lose if I start doing a group on their site. I can't lose it. They can't take it away. Good morning, Marianne. Good morning. Is it Joe? If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. I'd love to know why you're on social media. And you do have to pay to use that site, but you can't lose it. And Facebook really wasn't meant. A lot of people do make Facebook groups. It wasn't meant for that. It's really meant to socialize, but Facebook does have that feature, because I have 3 Facebook groups now that I'm the admin of. And I'll just, when I start, and I'll eventually do that, I'll go on school. I'll just invite everybody over there. But you do have to pay for school. I mean, you can join somebody's groups for free, but if you want to set up a group, and I was on a workshop the last 2 days about that. If you want to set up a group to invite people to, you do have to pay for it. Good morning, Jen. Good morning. Is it Sandy? Good morning. Oh, it just says, okay. Some of these, sometimes when, good morning, Erica, when you put things, TikTok put something up, they're just telling you, like, somebody just followed me. Um, and TikTok tells you that. And TikTok, I mean, it's running stuff up and down the screen the whole time I'm on this, where YouTube doesn't do that. If you're on my YouTube live, I can see the number of people on there. Good morning. But I can't see, unless people comment on YouTube, I can't see them. I don't know who's on. I know when you join someone else's live, you can see the chat, but if you're actually doing the live streaming, you can't. TikTok shows you everything. Where YouTube does not. I can just see the number of people that are on, and I can see people jumping on and off on TikTok, where I can't see that on YouTube. And people, I mean, these lives don't really have any accountability, because, anytime I say, "Why are you on social media?" hardly anybody answers. Nobody wants to be accountable. And these live streams, you can jump up and down, jump on and off of them anytime you want. You could be laying on your couch with your phone. You could be sitting on a toilet, for all I know, and you can be jumping on these live streams. So I think people like these because they don't have to show their face, they don't have to say anything, they don't have to do anything. If you're live streaming, it's quite different. But people just don't want to, and people come on the TikTok, on TikTok, I can see this, and then they jump off, and then they come back on. Good morning, Iris. Because they go, and people do what I call live hopping. Because I think the truth is, most of you're on here because you're trying to find a way to make some money from home, or you've been trying and you're not getting the results that you want. But people don't want to say anything. And when I say, where are you coming in from? That's not, that's just, I live outside, 40 minutes outside the city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, on the Northeast. I'm on the Northeast coast, the Northeast corridor, as they call it. And I live, probably I could drive to New York City in about 2.5 hours. New York City's not that far from me. But a lot of you don't want to say why you're on social media. I've been doing these every day now for over a month. I'm here every day at 10 a.m. Eastern. I mean, if you have a question, drop in the comments. If there's something you're trying to figure out, I've done a couple trainings. Somebody asked me to do one on social media marketing. I did another one on email marketing, because if you're using social media and you're not using email marketing and you're just sending people to just a page and you can't capture their email address, you're missing out, and that's a big piece that you're missing. You're probably not going to get the results that you want, because the problem just sending people to a page, you only have one chance to talk to them, and then when they're gone, that's it. And most people have to see something multiple times, and they come back, and that's what people do on these lives. And I can tell you, you may think people aren't watching you. I'm telling you, they are. So you may think that nobody's looking at anything, but you don't want to just send people to a page like that, because you can't keep talking to them. And this is a relationship business. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. And if you're not showing up consistently, if you are using social media and you're not showing up every day, and I mean 7 days a week, good morning, Jen. Good morning, Mylan. Good morning, Tracy. You'll never get anyone to follow you. They'll go find someone who does show up. People want to know you're going to be there, that they can depend on you. And somebody, if you're jumping on social media and you post one day, or you go live one day, and then, the next couple of days you're off doing something else, you'll never get anybody to follow you. And the consistency, the 7 days a week, how long somebody has to do that till you get traction, I don't know. And now, I mean, I've been doing these lives now, and I do have an audience on TikTok because I have over 100,000 followers. I'm getting more and more people on these, the more that I do them. And the first time, if you've never gone live before, and you maybe have some people following you, you may start doing, and maybe you might want to start doing a 5-minute live. I usually live stream for like an hour and see how it goes, because you may not get anybody on your lot the first ones you do. I actually did have, well, I'm on 2 places, so, I could have 8 people on TikTok and 8 people on my YouTube channel, but my first live actually in TikTok, I had 10 people get on it, and that's not usually typical, but I do have an audience, and if you've seen anybody that's done these for a length of time, they're gonna get a good number of people on, because people, if you are going to be doing it consistently, if you put that on your profile, like on TikTok, when you're going live, and let people know what, and then make sure if you're going to say a certain time and day that you do that you get on, because people will just get turned off. I mean, I've learned attraction marketing. You attract people to you. And you do that by, like, I'm just giving out free value. And I've personally spent over $100,000 learning from different people, and I'm sharing stuff that I've learned with you for free. So, yeah, in the first year I did this, I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have training. I didn't have a proven system. And I was setting up pay-per-click ads. I had no idea what I was doing. I spent $3,000 on pay-per-click ads, and I was getting clicks and stuff, but nothing converted, because I was sending people to a replicated website. I didn't get their email address, so I can't keep talking to them. And I didn't make any money. And that was a year I spent doing that, and $3,000. And I can save you all a year and $3,000, because you want to make sure you have a mentor, you want to make sure you have a proven system, and you want to make sure you have training, because if you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to get any results. And you're sending people to a system because you don't want to just be talking to them once. And if you don't have a mentor, you want a mentor. And I did that for a year. So I can save you that and $3,000. And if you want, I have a free PDF that outlines the blueprint I'm using. It's a 2-hour workday blueprint. It shows you step by step what to do. I have a free PDF. If you want it, you can go to payudaily.com. You'll get an email from me with a link with the PDF that you can download it and save that to your computer. If you want to try to do that on your own, be my guest, but I did that, and I spent a year and $3,000. I mean, if you're looking for a freebie, free is the most expensive choice of all. And I did spend money. I spent money. I bought the website. I was spending money on pay-per-click ads, had no training, no mentor. I didn't have a system in place. And I spent all that in a year of my time, and I didn't make anything. So I can pretty much tell you, if you want to try, you think you can do this for free, you can't. and you can go ahead and you can try it and see how it goes, but you're probably going to be wasting time and money. If I had known, and I didn't know anybody when I started this, and I didn't actually even start meeting people till after I had got the website and did the thing with the pay-per-click ads. I got on Facebook. That was like a year later. I started meeting people, because it's the relationships you build, and I've met tens of thousands of people now, and a lot of people, because this is a transit industry, they come in and out, they're all jacked up, and then they'll quit very quickly. And that's why there's a 95% failure rate. This business is simple but not easy. Simple and easy aren't the same thing, but if you can be coachable, consistent, show up every day, I mean 7 days a week, put in the work, you can do it too. Because there is work involved. You can get this down to 2 hours a day, but you can't. I mean, you can't not do anything. And if anybody that you think you join something that you're just going to be making money without putting any work in, um, I'll tell you, you're mistaken. Because if you do buy a course, or you do join a program, or you hire somebody, you want to go through the training and actually implement it. If you're not going to do that, then why bother? Because if you don't do anything, you're not going to make any money. And anybody that's in that mindset, and you may not make money right away. And I don't know why people think when that you don't have to invest time and money into something if you're learning something new. And the people you see making money, it's because they did the work. And some people, it may take you longer if you've never done this before. We just had somebody, one person that posted in our group, she joined 8 months ago and she just got her first sale, but she was um, doing the work. You got to build a following. And I don't know why. I mean, it takes a doctor 7 to 10 years to go through medical school, to go through residency. And then some of them, if it's a particular specialty, 3 years of a fellowship until they're done and they can actually be in a position that they can land a job that's like making six figures. Why, and that is true for somebody that wants to become a doctor. You having to put that much time in. Why people come into this industry and think you can do something for a short time and question why you're not making money. I mean, I didn't make any money the first year I did this. And I didn't really I started making a little bit of money after 5 years. And I didn't have what I have now. And I started actually with nothing. So why people think that. Good morning, Chris. Good morning. Actually, it says BC Colt. That's probably not your name or what people call you, but that's what you've got on your handle. Why people think you don't have to invest time or money into learning something and then doing it. Good morning, Chris. Good morning. I'd say Oprah, but it's spelled a little differently, and I'm not going to try it. um, yeah, pronunciations and reading and stuff is not my strength. I'm not an academic scholar. I was a kid that went off through grade school and high school undiagnosed that I had a learning disability, ADD, and my reading comprehensions like at the 11th grade level. And it wasn't until I was 32, I was in therapy at the time, that the therapist I was seeing, I started back to college. I didn't go to college straight out of high school. I was taking an American history course at a local community college. And I had a test. And when I went in to have my appointment with her, she said, "How did you do in your test?" And I said, "I flunked. I got a 52." And she started saying to me, "Something's wrong." And I was looking at her. I was like, "Well, what do you mean something's wrong?" She said, "Well, you studied." I said, "Yeah." And she said, "You don't flunk when you're doing work." She said, "Maybe you have a learning disability." It took her a year to convince me to go get tested. It was pretty expensive back then. It was like $1,000, and spent a day with a woman who had a doctorate degree in education. She gave me all these tests. I mean, that's what she specializes in, learning disabilities. And I went back, I got a 9-page report from her explaining I had a visual spatial um, learning disability that plagues a course like American history with the dates. And I also had ADD, and I also had my reading comprehension was at 11th grade level. She said to me, "That's way below what you need for a college level textbook." And she gave me a bunch of things I could do to help. One of them, I got double the time to take tests, which that helped me a lot to boost my grades because I could go back. And the professor, and this is when classes were still, you were physically going to classes. had to sit there and, until I got the double the time. I didn't want to be treated any differently, but that really helped me. And the other thing was I started taking Ritalin, and I'm not taking Ritalin now, but I took that until I was done. And I ended up having to see a shrink. He told me, he said, if you want to, well, when you're done, when you graduate, you have to go off this. And then if you decide you want to go get a master's degree, we can discuss going back on it again. But I can feel the difference to this day. And I thought about taking the Ritalin again, but it's so hard to get. But academic scholar, I'm not. And all through high school, the only reason I passed American history because I flunked every single test was we had political cartoons on Friday, and my dad was a really cartoonist. He would do one for me, and I got like an A+ on that, and that's how I passed because I didn't pass. I never passed a test in American history until like the third time I took it in college. After I got diagnosed and I was taking Ritalin, and I got a 73. That was the first time I ever passed, got a C in American history. I needed that to transfer, and I ended up graduating magna cum laude. And if it wasn't for my therapist, I probably would have quit because I was getting so frustrated because she was the one that said there's something wrong. And it was just my mom was overwhelmed. I'm the youngest of seven. She had 5 kids and got pregnant with me and my twin sister. Her OB didn't tell her. And so she wasn't prepared. And then when she goes into labor, one baby, she gets one baby, and they're like, wait a minute, there's another one. And I think her OB should have told her that because she could have been more prepared. But I didn't get any. I went through all grade school and high school. I did have a guidance counselor, like all through grade school and middle school and all that. That kept calling me down to her office, and she kept saying to me, "You're really smart. I can't figure out why your grades are so bad." But that just kind of was an ongoing conversation. And if I had gotten help when I was, in grade school, high school, and with the thing with ADD, if a child's past the age of 7 and you don't do anything, there's permanent damage. So if you have a child, I know my sister was concerned, my nephew had it, and I was like begging her, like, go get him tested before he gets any older, because once a kid gets past the age of 7, there's permanent damage. And I was 32 when I was diagnosed. So, and if it wasn't for that therapist, I saw her for 6 years. I don't think I'm better than anybody. I've just spent a lot more time in therapy working on my crap because I think we all have crap. If it wasn't for her, and I did graduate magna cum laude, I got my bachelor's degree, which I never thought that I'd ever be able to finish. And the job I got after I was at that job for 13 years, they paid for my education. That was a job. I took it, and then I was there for 3 years and lost it. I did get a lot more money, but I lost that job. I was spending 2 to 3 hours a day commuting, which I don't miss. If any of you are working jobs, or spending that amount of time commuting every single day. And I know one day I left at like 4 o'clock. We were getting a little bit of snow that day. I didn't get home till after 7 because of just a little bit of the inclement weather, and then anything else that was going on. Because if you live in the Northeast and you've ever driven on Interstate 95, that was the most how I had to get to this job. I spent most of the time on I-95 highway driving. Before, weeks or months before I lost my job, I was starting to fall asleep going home. I'd stop at, like, we have Wawa's where I live and get something with caffeine in it to try to stay awake, because that can be really dangerous. But the fatigue, and I do not miss that. My commute now, it's literally a minute. I go up a flight of stairs. I have my office in a room upstairs, and that's where I'm at right now. And that's what my commute is. So I don't miss that. And you're spending, a couple hours a day commuting, and then you're spending 40 hours a week at a job. So that's like 50 or 60 hours just with the job and the commute, and I don't miss that. So if you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. Let me know why you're on social media. And I've been talking today about my journey here, why I started this. Good morning, T. Good morning, Chris. Why I started this. And this industry, it can change your life. And the people you see making money, it's because they're coachable, they're consistent, they put in the work. I do have a 2-hour workday blueprint. You can get this down to 2 hours. But in the beginning, if you've never done this before, until you get some experience and some skills and you get faster, it might take you longer. You commute 16 to 20 hours. Wow, that I mean, and the mine was like 10 to 12, somewhere in there, and then if there was something going on, like that one day we had snow, if there's an accident or police activity or a car breaks down, it does because I was most of mine was highway driving, but, um do you like your job? I mean, I now that I'm not doing that and I haven't worked a job, like, in 9 years, I don't miss that. Um, I mean, I took that job because I had finished my degree. I knew the distance. It was a lot more money. And I mean, I always with that, you had to kind of go into it that you're going to take the job and do it for at least a year. If I really, really liked it, I probably would have ended up, if I wanted to stay long term, I probably would have moved. But I didn't, and it didn't work out. I lost that job anyway. So, and this is, I mean, at the time when I lost my job and then being in debt and foreclosure and all that, that wasn't fun. But I realize now how blessed I've been that I did lose that job because I would have never found this industry. I've had days in this industry where I've made more money in a day than I made in a whole month working a job. And I would have never been able to do that at a job. Good morning, Jane. So, I mean, really, it was a blessing. And when you're going through something like that, and yeah, it was hard. I couldn't find a job. I had like no money coming in. It's the home-based business industry too. That's what most of us on here that we're doing live streams like this, posting content. We and people do different business models, but we make money from home. We're entrepreneurs. We don't work for somebody else. And now there may be some people, like my mentor has hired some people because I mean, she can't do it herself. But most of us were doing this. I haven't worked a full-time job in over 9 years, and I'm working out of my house. And there's great tax write-offs. You know, I can write off my internet access, office supplies, the phone, and all that. Anything that I use for this. And if I hire a coach, I joined a mastermind in November that was $5,000. I was able to write that off. That was last year on my taxes. So there's really great uh, tax incentives to do this. But I don't have a boss. I don't have to listen to anybody. I work when I want to work. I make my own hours. If I need time off, I don't have to ask anybody. And actually, that job that I lost, the woman who was the head of it, you had to fill a form out if you wanted some time off, and whether it was a day off or you wanted a week for a vacation, you had to submit it, and then she had to approve it. You know, I've had jobs too where you've had to punch a time clock. I don't. I mean, I don't have to do any of that. I mean, I have the time freedom to do what I want, and I work basically a few hours a day and I'm done. Like when I get off this live, I did some videos this morning, said some emails, checked some messages, and now I'm doing this live stream. And you don't have to live stream. I didn't do it when I first started, but my mentor was encouraging me to do it. So I started doing these. Actually, it was in July. I've been doing these for over a month every single day. And I'm just here. I'm sharing, and I've spent over $100,000 to get, and I've made more than that back now to get around different people and learn from them. Because if you're trying to learn something new, you've got to invest time and money. And this is a high income skill. You can learn it in 2 weeks. Good morning, Martin. You won't master it in 2 weeks because you master something by doing it every single day, and you can get really good at something. And that is true. I found that true in this industry. You only have to get really good at one thing, and you can make a lot of money. So, I mean, for me and so many other people, it's been life changing. And I don't know what I would have done. I couldn't find a job. I'm still in my house. I probably, if I hadn't found this, because I couldn't find a job, and the one eventually when I found one, it was making 12.50 an hour in a call center. I was grateful for that, but I lost that job too. I'm going to put some money in my pocket. Nobody can live off of that. There's people collecting Social Security, living off of like, you know, $1,200, $1,500, $1,600, $2,000 a month. And I don't know who can live off of that. And there are some people that I've met doing this that they're either getting close to retirement or they're already retired and they don't have the money. If anybody trying to live off of Social Security, you can't live off of that. Good morning, Kathy. Kathy, if you want to know more about it, if you go to payudaily.com, or you can click the link in my profile, there's a opt-in. There's 2 videos you can watch. Read the page. If you have, you'll get an email from me. I have a free PDF that's yours to keep. If you have questions, you can respond back to the email. Good morning, Heart Fernando. What do people call you? Somebody just got good morning. Is it Riffy? Is that what people call you? Somebody just got a number two cat badge. I don't. Somebody else. Yeah, it's called the number two gift badge. What does people? Does anybody know what that is on TikTok? I'm not sure what that is. Um, Good morning, Lingus. Is that what people call you? It's funny because on these lives, TikTok shows me. I can see people coming on and off this. Like somebody will go off it and then they're coming back on again. And people do that multiple times. And anytime I say, well, why are you on social media? And even where you're coming in from, most people don't want to comment about that because I do think that these lives, from the standpoint, not me actually doing the live streaming because you got to be here and be accountable, but jumping on people's live streams, you don't have to say anything, you don't have to do anything, you don't have to show your face. Good morning, Chris. You could be laying on your couch and you've got your phone in your hand and you jumped on the live. You could even be on the sitting on a toilet for all I know. And you can jump on and off whenever you want. You don't have to say anything. You don't really have to do anything. And I think that's why, and I think people do this that are, spending time on social media, just go, and they could be jumping, just not my live, but other people that are live streaming. And if you follow someone, when you, like on TikTok, when you log onto your account, you can tell when the person's live because their profile, it kind of goes like this and it's red and it's lit. So you know that the person is live. And you can see anybody you follow. Because I know the people I follow, when they're live streaming, I can see it. So there's no good morning, Lainey. There's no really accountability. And I just think it's so funny when I say, well, why are you on social media? Because I do believe most of you're coming on here because you're looking for ways to make money from home, or you've been trying and you're not getting the results that you want. And you may have tried it on your own. And I was talking about that earlier. And today I was talking about my journey. I spent a whole year. I didn't know anybody. There was nobody to ask. I went to Google. I searched make money online. I bought a website. They sent me a 3-page PDF telling me to set up pay-per-click ads, which I did. I had no idea what I was doing. I spent $3,000 in a year, and I'm sending traffic to a replicated website, which you never want to do. Thank you, Lainey, for liking the live. I really appreciate it. Sending traffic to a replicated website, which you never want to do, and you don't know what you don't know. Because if you're not sending people to something like a capture page, a website or a squeeze page, all the same thing, and getting their email address and building your email list because you don't own your social media accounts. I did that for a year. And then I realized I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have training. I didn't have a proven system. I needed to get around somebody who had done what I wanted to do because you can't do this by yourself. You can try. And I spent a year. I can save you a year of time and actually it was more than 3,000 because I bought a website. And I don't even remember what the website was. But I knew after a year I had to get around somebody that had done what I wanted to do so I could learn from them. And I've spent over $100,000 now doing that, getting coaching courses, going to live events, joining stuff. And if you're seriously building this, you need an email list. And there's a tool called an autoresponder. And I know when I first started this, and after that, I got on Facebook, the people I first met were telling me you don't need an autoresponder. You need an autoresponder, and that's a cost. You can start, most of them you can start with for free. The one I use, they give you up to 2,000 subscribers for free. And then, there's a cost to it. You want to build an email list because you don't own your social media accounts. I've lost 10 TikTok accounts. One, I had over 200,000 followers. I lost 3 Instagram accounts. Somebody hacked my Instagram account and deleted it. I had 2 others that Instagram suspended, and then they didn't review in my favor. And I lost both of those. And I stayed off of TikTok for over a year. I didn't even know if I was going to get back on TikTok. And then last June, the TikTok account you're on, I started posting 3 videos a day on that last June. And I did the same thing with a new Instagram account. And now I just hit 100,000 followers on TikTok, and I'm close to 100,000 on Instagram because I've mastered some skills. I know what to do. I know what to do to build up another account. And it's the skills you master that no one can ever take away from you. And it's the people you master skills, that's what the people making money. It's because they mastered skills, they were coachable, they were consistent, they put the work in. There is work involved with this, although you can get this down to 2 hours a day. Um, if you can follow some simple instructions and you're coachable and you show up every day. And when I say every day, I mean 7 days a week. I'm live streaming here every single day. I was here yesterday. I'm here today. I'll be here tomorrow. And I've been doing this for over a month now. And I'm just giving out free value. Um, Thank you, Lainey, for liking the live. I really appreciate it. So I do believe that a lot of you're looking for ways to make money from home, or you're trying and you're not getting the results that you want. So you're jumping on my live, you're probably jumping on other people's lives, hopping around looking for stuff. Because every time I say that, it's so funny. And now TikTok does this every single day. They're telling me they're going to shut down in 5 minutes. They do this to me when I get past like 55 minutes. It's a TikTok thing. YouTube doesn't do that to me. So if you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. If you have a question, drop in the comments. If you have something you're trying to figure out, if I know it, I can help you out with it. I can do a training. If I don't know it, I don't think it's ethical to train on stuff you haven't done. I can probably give you a resource. I know a lot of things. I don't know everything. I've been doing this for a long time, so I probably can point you in the direction of somebody if you're trying to figure something out. I had a guy that got on YouTube that wanted to know about CPA marketing. I know what it is. I've never done it. I've never made money with it, so I don't think I can ethically teach on it. But I gave him some resources. And there's different business models. The one person here was asking what industry. I mean, there's different business models. There's network marketing, affiliate marketing, high ticket affiliate marketing, digital marketing, which I've done those others. And I pick digital marketing because I'm making 100%. Some people have their own products or services. There's people that they have their own coaching services. So they're using social media to market it. And they coach about different things. Some people are life coach. I mean, there are different business models. You decide what you want to do. I have my own, I have a course and a live workshop I did on TikTok. And I really got into it because I was making 100% on that. So when I heard the whole thing with digital marketing, I don't have to make the products. I don't have to do any of the customer service or any of that. That's handled for you. And it's 100% comes to me. If you're doing network marketing, affiliate marketing, high ticket affiliate marketing, the money goes to the company and they pay you out to their schedule. And most pay somewhere between 20 and 40%. There's a few that pay a little bit more than that. But to give you an example, I was doing a high ticket affiliate program. I had somebody come through my link. What they bought was $25,000. I made 27% of that, which is $6,200, which is great. I woke up to that. I made that in a day, and that's more than I made in a month when I still work in a job. But over 18,000 went to the company. And that was my effort. It was the same amount of effort. And they made over $18,000 from that. And I just decided with digital marketing, it all comes to me. There's no waiting. I use Stripe. That's the merchant account I use. Stripe lets me withdraw up to $500 every single day if I want to. And that money is in my bank account like in 15 minutes. I love it. It's great. Good morning. Is it Saeed? You're from Europe, you say? Good morning. Thanks for jumping on. There's people coming on here from like all over the world. And this is global. If you're doing something, you want it to be global. Because I I live in the United States, but I talk to people from Canada, the United Kingdom, Australia, Sweden, Korea, North Africa. There's people from everywhere. And social media gives you that ability because there's over 5 billion people on social media. You want to do something that's global. There are some things. Oh, you're in Italy. Okay. I'm Italian. My grandfather came to the United States from Italy, from Abruzzi. He was, I don't know, he was like 16 or 18 years old. And he came over to the United States. They were rope makers. And my grandfather was an entrepreneur. He had a tailor shop. Good morning, Taiwan. Getting people from all over the world here. So that's why you want something global. and it's digital, so you don't have to deal with shipping or anything. You don't have to do the customer service. You don't have to create the products, which that's all done for you, and 100% profit, which what do you mean by what topic talks? Good morning, Gary. You don't have to do any of that. That's why it's done for you. You can get them to set up a system for you. There's a charge, or there's training there. Good morning. Thank you for the fan club. Good morning, Thomas. That's why if you're just taking something, and you can do that and try. But I spent a year. Thank you, Gary. I appreciate that. Good morning, Em. You have to, I mean, you can do that. Go ahead, try it on your own. But I did spend a year and $3,000, and I didn't make any money. And I did realize after that I needed to get around somebody who has done what I wanted to do. Your I am which project talks. I don't know what that means. So I'm past an hour here. So if you have a question, drop it now, because I'm going to end this now. I am here every day at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be back tomorrow. If you've got questions, bring them. If you need help, let me know. But it's over an hour today. Thank you for joining. I'll see you guys tomorrow.